But I also want y'all to understand, right? For those of y'all that's watching, snitching is the reality.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the illest killers, some of the biggest drug dealers, don't lie to yourself. Brian Glaze Gibbs, the man that you're watching, argue with Zip with the Drip. Both of these niggas is killers. Even when it comes to me and Zip, Brian Glaze Gibbs, his history of who he was running with and what them niggas did was they were monsters.
More than me and you put together.
More than me and you put together. And I was a monster and Zip is a monster. Haas got charged. I got charged with multiple bodies.
And that's what I'm saying.
They was talking about giving him, they was talking about him catching a body every week for a whole year. Brian Glaze Gibbs was a monster. Preacher was a monster. Preacher was taking dudes that he had beef with, bringing them to the basement, busting their booty hole open, then decapitating them. Monster. Soon as he got to the precinct, he wrote a book. He even told on his son. So I want y'all to understand that when you enter this game, and it's not a game, in the streets, the number one rule is that there is no rule. Because what you got to understand when it comes to the drug game, right? If you can sit up there and take a drug that comes from the CIA and sell it in your own community, watch your next door neighbor go from being a pretty woman to a crackhead. How that nigga said from New Jack City, I got my balls waxed 5 times a day by crackheads. So now you took beautiful black women, turned them into dope fiends and crackheads, and then watch their kids run around the hood being either manipulated by the drug dealers, the same drug dealers, or molested by the African Bambadas. Once you could be that dirty that you could turn a black queen into a trap queen, into a zombie. You ever seen a dope fiend on a train station or on the block, nodded out on 125th Street in the Bronx? They can't even stand up straight.
That's a fact.
The man that turned another man into a zombie, into a crack whore. So when you could actually sit up there and you could do that to your people, you are capable of anything. So the smart niggas say, you know what? When I was in this game, I didn't care who life I destroyed. So when I get behind this penitentiary, I'm not going to care who life I destroy. Yeah, let's get to that.
Get to that. Hey, I don't be jacking. I don't jack a lot of shit that the old heads got to tell me from back in the days. Like they run around, they talk about the young boys these days. Yo, they ain't got no morals and principles. Like they stood on morals and principles, and those was like in the last 60 years. Them dudes that had it in the 80s and the 90s, those was the foulest crop of niggas that in the history of niggas. Like, let's get to that. They sold crack to pregnant women. They ain't had no fucking morals, you heard? They gave crack to little niggas to sell. They ain't have no morals. Now I'm saying dudes would try to say, oh, yo, these dudes these days, they ain't got no morals. Yeah, because they learned from people like y'all. They came up under y'all. Y'all killed their fathers, their uncles, and their big brothers. Y'all sold crack to their grandmothers and shit like that. And then y'all get on here on social media platforms and all that and talk bad about these little niggas. Y'all left them little niggas no choice. Like they ain't got no choice but to be doing what they doing out here because of what happened, because of the dudes that had it in the 80s and the 90s. You heard they was foul, super foul.
But you know what, Zip? The one thing I respect about Gibbs is the fact that all the rest of these niggas, including Tekashi, is running around still playing gangster. Gibbs is one of the dudes that's telling dudes, don't go down that path.
So you don't got it. So they don't put you in a position
Minnesota.
where you got to tell or go spend the rest of your life. I respect that.